It's Powerback time on the Gutsy Podcast, your 20-minute boost to reclaim and refocus your energy. Get ready to have bursts of clarity, a boost of confidence, and the practical steps you need to make gutsy moves forward. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. I'm not sure that I've ever really gone into the depths to talk about scarcity or lack here on the Gutsy Podcast, so I thought that this would be a really good opportunity for us to just have a good conversation around what scarcity is, what it looks like, and most importantly, how to move forward into a life and a mindset of abundance. I first want to start off just by acknowledging that these are what I might consider fluffy words, scarcity and abundance. So let's just break it down to what these things actually are. Scarcity meaning I don't have enough, and abundance meaning I have plenty. Boiling these two terms down to what they actually are, I think makes it so much easier to be able to recognize it. And as you know, I am an advocate for awareness and recognition. When you have awareness, you can do something about it. Today, we're going to talk about where lack and scarcity comes from in the first place. I'm going to share a handful of examples of how this might look or feel in your current world. And I'm going to give you some tools so that you know how to change this, how to reframe it and get more in a place where you feel like you have plenty. By the way, we go even deeper on subjects just like this inside the Gutsy Collective. And one of the bonus points of being in the group is having access to our monthly live coaching sessions. Every month for 90 minutes, I go live with the group, and it's a chance for you to get your questions answered, to be able to work out some of the details of something that's keeping you stuck or something that you're working on and towards. And in between those sessions, you have access to lessons, the community discussion threads, accountability posts, and a room full of cheerleaders to applaud you as you make gutsy moves. Your first 2 weeks are free on me because I believe so much in the power of this group and what it has for you. I want you to get all access. So all you got to do is go to lauraora.com, click on membership and sign up there. You can also scroll down and click on the link in the show notes. Okay, in today's space here in this Powerback episode, we're talking about letting go of lack and creating a life of abundance. Again, a reminder, lack, scarcity, meaning I don't have enough, and abundance, meaning I have plenty. Where does this lack and scarcity mindset and feelings and behavior come from in the first place? Well, we can always go straight back to childhood. If there was conditioning, beliefs, sayings, arguments around having things, doing things, then that's when our earliest beliefs are formed, and that's the shit that sticks with us throughout our life. For instance, in the house that I grew up in, every conversation around money was heightened or angry. We never seemed to have enough, and as soon as it came in the door, it left just as quickly. So you can see how some of those early behaviors around us have influenced the way that you are today. It's taken me a lot of years and a lot of therapy to undo those beliefs. So think back to your childhood. What were the conversations around things and money and experiences? And start to notice, how is that showing up in my current world today? Another way that lack shows up is in comparison culture. Always comparing yourself to what everything and everyone else is doing, feeling like you're behind, not feeling good enough. It can also show up in the fear, the infamous what if. For instance, what if I invest in this class and the money doesn't come back? What if I go on this trip and then I can't pay my bills? Fear is a pretty strong emotion, and it can dictate where you go and what you do. We also can't forget about societal conditioning. If you think about modern day marketing and how things have been for quite some time of act now, do this now, or you're going to lose out. FOMO, fear of missing out. That stuff is rooted in lack. And if you think about every ad that you are consuming, whether it's on social media, radio, on your streaming services, TV, it's all based in do this right now. This subconsciously tells us that we don't have enough, or we will never have it. Another rather large one, past traumas or past failed moments. Listen, when I and my husband went through bankruptcy, I thought that that was the end of everything. And it's taken a really long time to be able to heal from that situation, to let go of that lack and know that I do have enough. And then we have the buddy system, where that past trauma of mine through bankruptcy paired up with my childhood conditioning of we don't have enough. And you can see how that might tell me how I need to move about this world. And lastly, I mean, there's a million other reasons, but these seem to be the top ones. The last really big one is survival instincts. Making sure you and your family are taken care of. You have a roof over your head. You have food on the table. This often comes from a sense of protection, being able to provide. And that's been a human instinct for as long as time has been here. It's been an animal instinct for as long as time has been here. So I would encourage you to go through some of these and maybe even brainstorm a few other ways and where your lack stems from. Was it a situation through childhood? Is it all of the information that you're being fed in the different channels that you're consuming content? Are you living in fear? Are you truly deeply in that survival instinct mode? Did you have a past experience that has stuck with you? It's not yet been released and processed. Understanding the root of where your lack or your scarcity mindset comes from can be extremely liberating. And that's because this allows you to process it, to feel it, to understand it, to get curious about it, and then to be able to make decisions that allow you to move past it. Because the reality is, there is abundance all around you. There are tools and resources everywhere. Money is ever flowing all of the time. Things can come back to you. Something better can be on the way when you let go of something that no longer serves you. And when we start to tap into that energy, the abundance energy, that, you know what, I have plenty. Even in the moments where it doesn't feel like you do, when you start to tap into the belief that you do, you change your energetic frequency to call those things to you. Now, I want to shift and talk about a few specific examples on how lack or scarcity might be showing up in your world today. Because as I was prepping for this episode, I was like, shit, I didn't even realize that I'm still doing some of these things myself. It shows up in the sneakiest of ways, and it often is a silent habit that you don't even recognize that you're feeding a lack mindset. And the one that really kind of kicked me in the teeth was holding on to things. I came across this concept on a TikTok video and I was like, motherfucker. I wish I would have wrote down the creator's name. I'm going to be better at doing that. She was basically sharing how, you know what, if you're not using your good stuff because you're holding on for something better, you're operating from a lack mindset. So things like using your good lotion, using your good face wash, using that special candle that you spent a lot of money on or saved up for, waiting to use the special perfume, waiting to use the good wrapping paper, waiting to wear the good clothing. When you're holding on to these things and you're not using them, you're actually operating out of a scarcity mindset. It's as if I use this, it's going to be gone and I will never get it back. And this is the one that I have been doing. And I'm like, holy shitballs. This one's pretty sneaky because I just thought that I was being resourceful. No, turns out I'm operating in lack. Now, I also want to say, we're not out here being reckless with shit. I'm not using 5 pumps of lotion when I really only need 2. What I'm doing instead is I'm actually using the 2 instead of not using it at all. This idea of waiting for something better to come along in your life is keeping you stuck. It's keeping you in a place where you don't have enough, or at least it doesn't feel that way. The reframe here is when I go to use the good lotion, for instance, instead of thinking, oh, I need to save this for something else, the reframe is actually, I can get more of this. Using this makes me feel good right now. There's plenty of lotion for today's moments and the great moments ahead. And then use the damn lotion. Light the candle. Use the wrapping paper. Spray the perfume. Wear the amazing outfit. Switching from lack to abundance means using the things that you've already worked so hard for, instead of holding off and waiting for something better. Another way that lack shows up is holding on to and clinging on to something that you have with the fear that nothing better is going to come. And this might be things like your job, a spouse, a relationship, a friend. A lot of times I hear this like, well, I'm not unhappy with these things. I just don't love it. My life is fine. What is wrong with me? Why do I want something more or different? And this belief and the action of holding on to something is making you settle. You can be happy with what you have and still want something else. Your life can be good and you're still striving for something else. This is human growth and evolution. If nothing changes, then nothing changes. And so start to notice, what are you clinging on to? What are you settling for? For instance, if it's the job, the job is okay. I don't mind it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It pays pretty decent. But in your body and in your soul, you're like, but there's got to be something better out there, right? This is the reframe. There is a better job for me. I can be okay with this job and still want something different. I don't have to stay somewhere just because it's familiar. These reframes are going to give you the oomph that you need to take action, to do something about this. You were not born to settle, my friend. You were born to thrive. You were born to explore. You were born to be happy. So give this to yourself. The next way that lack tends to show up is our good old friend money. Holding on to our good old friend money, I should say, with the fear that it's not going to come back. So this often looks like not investing in yourself, not buying anything nice for yourself, avoiding enjoying life, avoiding doing things, penny pinching, like really just not doing shit. Again, I'm going to put an asterisk in here because a lot of times people think that, if I'm not being frugal, if I'm not saving, if I'm not holding on to stuff, then I'm being reckless. Listen, I'm not out here saying put all your money in a fucking t-shirt gun and blow it out your window. I'm saying use your hard-earned money to enjoy your fucking life. Take care of your responsibilities, absolutely. But then buy that really amazing blanket that you saw at TJ Maxx or Marshall's that just felt like butter. Get yourself a new pair of pants because the bottoms of the ones that you're wearing are ripped up because you've been wearing them for 8 years. Invest in the class or the course or the Gutsy Collective because investing in yourself is going to help improve yourself, which is going to improve your life. You can be responsible, take care of your needs, and invest in yourself. Because when you invest in things that make you feel good, that pour goodness back into you, that are helping your mind, your body, your soul, just simply making you happy, that in itself is raising your frequency. That blanket that you saw that you put back because you're like, no, I don't need anything. What if the reframe is, if I get this blanket for myself, I get to feel amazing when I wrap up in it every single night, every single day. You get to enjoy something. That's an abundance mindset, my friend. A good friend and a mentor of mine once told me that, Laura, it's only money you can make more. And if you spend $24.99 or $35.99 or $50 on this amazing blanket, it's going to come back to you because you have raised your frequency and you're pouring into yourself. Now, the next one, this folds into everyday conversations, and that's looking and listening to your words. Things and phrases like, I can't afford that. That's too much. Judging what other people are doing or spending. I don't have enough for that. These types of sayings and feelings create emotion. It's basically like telling your soul to sit down and shut up. And while it may be technically true in the moment that you quote unquote can't afford it, meaning that in this very moment, I don't have enough money for this. That type of talk stops the progress. You can't move forward when you are thinking that way. And you'll continue to not have enough for that thing because you have now formed a belief that you can't. Whereas if you reframe this to something like, how can I make this work? That's something that I would love to save up for. What can I do right now to be able to afford this? It's acknowledging that, hey, right now in this moment, I can't, but now I have opened up my mind and my energy to say, but I'm willing to figure out how I can. This invites your mind and your body and your soul to take action, to get creative, to figure things out. And the people that operate from this mindset eventually do the thing, buy the thing, go to the place, because they were open and willing to figure out how to do it. Another fun little pesky one is overdoing things. Overthinking, overworking, overcommitting. The overs are rooted in fear, and the fear is rooted in lack. So when you're overcommitting to doing things, there's this lack mentality saying like, if I don't do more things, then I'm not enough. Overworking is saying, I don't have enough, so I'm going to go get as much as I can, and then I'm going to hold on to all of it. Whereas an abundance mindset and abundance activities are actually rooted in slowing down, allowing, receiving, asking for help, saying no to protect your time and energy, catching when your brain wants to do that funky thing, and bringing yourself back into a centered place. I'm not saying that you're not doing anything. I'm just saying that you're not expending yourself. Expending yourself comes from lack. Protecting your peace and your energy comes from abundance. The second to last one here kind of goes hand in hand with the words, and it's the focusing on what's missing versus appreciating what you have. And I say that this goes along with words is because we're often expressing things like, well, I don't have this and I don't have that. I don't have enough of this and I'll never be able to do those things. When you're focusing on what you don't have, you're telling your brain that that's what's important to you. Whereas stepping into a place of gratitude and appreciation, acknowledging the things that you do currently have, you can still be working on things that you want and appreciate what you currently have. Appreciation, gratitude, acknowledging those things come from a space of abundance. Now, I could go on and on. This could be an entire series, but the last one for today's episode is the fear of delegating or letting go. Where are my controlling people? Raise your hand. Yes, you. The one that has all the responsibilities and then complains about having all the responsibilities, but won't let anyone help them or ask for help. My friend, welcome to lack. You are not going to be able to live in a space of abundance when you keep holding on to everything. And I get it. You do it really, really well. But holding on to all the responsibilities, believing that nobody else that can do it as well as you, or that you have to be the one to do it, or losing control because you're not the one in charge, is keeping you in a space of lack. Now, you don't have to give up everything, but you do have to start asking for help. You do have to let other people do it imperfectly. How on earth do you expect to receive abundance when you are carrying around 50-pound bags of sand on every fucking arm and leg? Abundance comes from receiving, and that receiving comes from help. You don't have to do it all, my friend. You don't have to do it all. So, as we wrap up today, I hope that I have scratched your brain a little bit to see where your scarcity or lack may be stemming from and how it might be showing up in your world. I've actually been super curious if there was one or multiple of these that stood out most to you. Like I said, with mine, it was holding on to things. And since I've become super aware of that, I have now started to use the things that I've already purchased, I've already invested in. And I gotta tell you, it's pretty glorious. No matter what the situation or how this is showing up in your world, there are 4 ways that you can shift and let go of lack to create a life of abundance. First, practice gratitude. Write down each day 3 things that you are grateful for. This is going to start to train your brain to recognize abundance instead of lack. Number 2, reframe those limiting beliefs. That shit is not serving you anymore. Catch your words, catch the phrases that you usually say, and then reframe them into something that supports your abundant life. 3, celebrate other people's successes, because there's no lack in celebration. Their success is actually showing you what's important to you and what's possible. And lastly, visualize that abundance. I know that you may not be where you want to be yet. Keyword there is yet. But tapping into that higher version of you, the aligned version of you that already has that, how would she move? How would she handle this situation? I can tell you mine uses the damn lotion. This will give you the clarity to know how to take action towards the thing that you want instead of away from it. You have unlimited, untapped resources all around you. And starting to receive that abundance starts with you. If you know someone that could greatly benefit from this episode, I would super appreciate if you could forward and share this with them. And if you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, it helps us to reach other women like you to help make gutsy moves to change their life too. I am at That Laura Aura on Facebook and TikTok. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.